Good morning and welcome each one to the service. I got the bulletin this morning and noticed whoever had to put the verse on kind of had the same mindset I've had this past week with everything warming up. I kind of get antsy for the new season and spring, and trees are budding and grass is greening up, and if you have animals, it's time of year that calves and colts and whatnot all are being born, and just kind of thinking about the seasons, and the fall everything kind of dies out, and winter it stays dormant, looks dread, and in the spring it all springs back up. And in life I'm glad that no matter what season in life we just come through, there's spring can happen any time of year in life. It don't have to be in March and April. So that's all I have for that. For announcements today, Sunday school lesson will be 2 Corinthians 2:14 through 3:11, and next Sunday will be 2 Corinthians 3 verse 12 through 4 verse 5. And the youth will be having a presentation today on their mission trip, so we're all looking forward to that. By way of other announcements, communion service is planned for Easter Sunday, which is on March 31st. We will not be having Sunday school, and the service will begin at 8:30 with brunch following. And the youth activity this week is on Thursday night. It's gym night at Pleasant View School at 6. And then there is a sign-up sheet on the bulletin board to decorate the church as well. So, is there any other announcements from anyone? Okay, if not, let's all stand, and Ryan Otto, would you lead us in a word of prayer? All right, thank you. This time, all the teachers and the children can be dismissed. And the youth and the adults.
Sunday school lesson today is 2 Corinthians 2:14 through chapter 3.
From what I read, there's substantial.
So let's go ahead and read the lesson.
and again, we commend ourselves, or we, as some others, epistles of commendation to you, or letters of commendation from you.
But if the ministration of death written and engraved in stones was glorious, so that the children of Israel could not steadfastly behold the face of Moses for the glory of his countenance, which glory was to be done away.
Ye are our epistle written in our hearts, known and read of all men.
For as much as ye
For even that which was made, glories and no glory, into this respect, by reason of the glory that exalteth.
but with the Spirit of the Lord,
That which he has done away was glorious, much more for that which remaineth is glorious.
and such treasures hath the reason of
Not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think
Last Sunday,
as of
St. Mark taught,
our
we
sufficiency is of God.
were talking about Paul's letter here, and how he
Able ministers of the New Testament, not of the letter,
got after him for not showing up,
Let her
and
kill
some
him.
different things like
but the
that.
Spirit
But,
giveth life.
Administration of death, written and engraved in stone.
reading through here this morning, one of the first verses that kind of stood out to me was verse 16. The one, we are the savor of death unto death, and to the other the savor of life unto life. I don't know, I guess I welcome all your guys' thoughts. But reading that, I just kind of had to wonder, like, do our lives show that, what kind of savor are we putting on? Are we trying to bring others unto Christ? Are we turning people away? I don't know. Just some of the thoughts that came to mind this morning.
The heading, or this portion of
which
chapter 2,
as an example, that fits pretty well.
fragrance of Christ.
First four verses of my Bible, plus
I guess that's a new thought.
Christ, we are supposed to, we're called to follow Christ. But depending where our heart is, where our, I guess, mindset is,
That was, I was looking at that this morning too, I'm sure it was following.
I think maybe my nose puts us, I never thought of that word.
There's no doubt.
Change where we are in line as
Just reading it, I always had to think of saved.
Of life, people just
Saved or is saved from. A saver is something that you
I think
relish.
it's more important than
Enjoy it. Enjoy the taste, enjoy
you know, what kind of smell people see. Somebody brought this up, kind of in the last, I don't even know which one, there's something
savor the things of God.
the statement was made about in your, you and me, I'm gonna say,
I guess
most
I make a
aggravated
difference
time of
all
life.
along, but whenever I read that, it just
This was preached across the pulpit, then it gave me a lot, I mean, there's time.
In the study,
You know,
they
Ken,
I just get down right back.
kind of
dude,
gave the correlation of, they would have these,
what's the first right verse?
I'm not sure what they call it anymore, but like a parade.
I don't have the
They
answer,
would
but I
take
sure
these
have
people
some.
down through the, streets or whatever in Rome.
Can I just?
Rome, and they would, they could smell that, some incense that they were burning, it was
Sabre has kind of a lot of universal
Mhm. I
implications.
still, then we look at working force. Well, back.
Sometimes people have a tendency to have a,
And I apologize.
everyone's kind of got their own,
I'm sorry.
sort of looking for air about them, I guess you would say. And I think that's what he's trying to bring out is
Very
that
rotten, and I apologize.
we all have a certain air about us, and
And
whether it's,
he took it.
like, I think like-minded believers would find it something that's comforting we want to be around, whereas to some people that don't accept Christ, they don't really find it repulsive, they don't want to be around you. So I think this,
And I
for example, coffee, a lot of us probably enjoy the smell of coffee, it brings us
not been right.
some pleasure, I guess you would say, but others that don't like coffee, they just
But I
don't be
never.
around it, it smells. And so
As a smell.
I think
Our actions need to
it can be a similar
But
thing
at the
with
same point, we say some of
our
our attitude.
values that we live out.
I think we
It
can
can be the same way, like we believe in certain things, and that's what people know us for.
And then some
They're either
people,
gonna find
you know,
that
they appear,
something that they value, they want to be around, or something that
you just know.
they agree with, not to try to say, well,
That fine line is being real. Well, you're
It's
the
almost,
guy, I got that
it's
figured out.
almost the environment.
You know,
created.
well, there's
I don't know that every uses that per se.
a lot of material in there.
It has a lot of different examples, it's indicative of, or it's likeness, or it has similar characteristics, so.
It's interesting.
That's kind of neat.
Talks about,
Paul,
in the chapter 2 at the
you
end,
know, it's a pretty good thing that he said, you know, for himself in 15, he
verse
said,
15,
we are to God as sweet savor of prayer.
unto God a sweet
I
savor.
think he felt very accepted.
That's interesting.
He wouldn't say that.
Them that are saved and those that are perished. So it looks to me like there's a continuation of thought here. And those that are perishing,
Like you said, people have an aura
Christian is the
about
savor of death.
him. It seems
I
like,
think, I mean,
you don't really
that's the
smell
way I
it,
would take it.
hopefully.
And those that are saved is the savor of life. I mean,
We try to
person
put people
who's not
positively
saved,
by
a lot
the
of them
aura
don't
that you create
appreciate
or the environment, not by the,
Christianity.
yeah.
I mean, to them,
We try not to have these things.
it doesn't,
Not to lure by the fever,
I mean,
the overlook,
there are a lot of people that don't,
neutralize that part.
I mean, read the news.
So, sitting there, what you were saying.
They don't appreciate the things of God.
You know, about the coffee,
Also, doesn't, I mean,
those who don't like it, you don't like, enjoy the smell. Or what about like Christian, he likes, she savors the smell, but she doesn't savor the taste.
it's kind of a conviction,
So how do you compare that to them?
right?
Well, I mean, it's a, that's.
Every analogy has limitations.
Clearly, there's two kingdoms.
maybe that lines up with the idea of
Correct
people
statement,
liking
that there are two, there's good and evil. You know, there are people, for whatever reason, I think probably unknown to us.
There's,
I don't think any
I
of
don't
us
know, I
buy
think
into
it's
the whole
sometimes
thing,
maybe
elect
you watch
versus
some
non-elect.
celebrities
I
or
hope we
country
don't.
singers or, you know, whatever, they,
But
you know, a lot of them
there are
are
people
talking
that-
about prayer, or talking about God here and there.
for whatever reason,
You know,
are given over to,
sometimes it's like, are they
I think according to the scripture,
truly
they're
living
blinded. I
a
mean,
godly life?
the God of this world is blinded their minds or their eyes or whatever it's at. That's the reality of man. A person who's joyful, a person who's
Thinking of them speaking
the sweet
about
savor
God,
of Christ,
necessarily believing.
it just doesn't
Yes,
sense.
one of the singers that
They
wrote
could
that
sense
song
that they're not of the same,
I saw the light.
we're not plugged into the same source, you know.
He was real, he could really sing it, he was good at singing it.
And yet it's weird to me, I've mentioned this, I do remember mentioning this across the hall today, right, in Sunday school. I've got a friend that's actually Hindu,
He would see the light,
and it's the weirdest thing, because
yet he was singing it from.
nicest guy you can imagine. And he prays to these stupid little figurines, you know. I mean, how can that be? And then there are some Christians that are,
Something good can come out of a person.
I mean, you don't necessarily want to hang out with me. You know, they're just, they're kind of jerks, you know, and it's like, how can that be? You got some Hindu that,
Unless the
according to the Bible, is worshiping demons.
So if
something not to get translated.
I was just, but the interesting point is,
And yet, sometimes even the hardest heart can be won over by kindness. You know, there's a powerful story. I read of his name was Exxon Down. He was a Nazi prison guard. He was holed up in the mountains. He was a hermit. There's some Christians reached out to him, took him food and a meal. They sat around and ate with him and prayed with him. And at some point, he figured out that these people knew who he was. And it literally struck him. He just started crying. He said, "Why are you doing this to me? Why are you being kind to me?" That's a Nazi guard that was probably responsible for who knows how many people he killed. You know, here he is at the end of his life. As a dude became a Christian, you know, because somebody reached out. You never know this. You never know. You just don't.
my position or place goes back to this forgiveness, but it made it different. And the person wants to learn more because he
But we should look.
sees that savor in you,
We gotta look. We gotta look at chapter 3.
that thing we give off for that.
This chapter is important. I remember preaching this years ago back at Pleasant View, and I got some raised eyebrows, and I'm like, well, I'm just saying what the Bible says. It's calling the 10 Commandments the ministration of death and the ministration of condemnation. That's all I did was read this and commented, and they're like,
Yeah, what
why would you have the ministration of death and the ministration of condemnation hang on the wall? Even when I was there, I'm like, I'm just reading this. My mind, of course, went to Romans 7, you know, Paul said,
Like what they're hearing.
sin outside of, I mean, the law shows us what sin is, you know, it doesn't do anything to help us. And not knowing the lust, I think he said, except for bless the law. He had covenant, he kept the external stuff all right, but inside he had covenant. So there is a clear, it talks about the difference in the Spirit of God, heart, fleshy tables of the heart, or written on stone by the finger of God in the Old Testament. I think verse 6 is profound.
That was a good acknowledgement.
Not of the letter. The letter killed. The letter is supposed to kill. That's the truth. The letter, to me, the letter is, the law of God is supposed to kill our hopes. If the law is properly elevated and properly used, it is still there. I mean, there is still, the law of God is still there, but the dispensation is already in.
One thing that I found on that.
I think we should elevate it. I think we should understand it, but not for the sake of trying to say, hey,
Reading
I've
up
kept
on
it better
Google a
than Joe
little bit,
has,
and
therefore I'm justified
That's
and Joe is
that
not.
part is
The
sufficient.
letter, if we understand the letter, it is to kill.
I thought it was kind of interesting. Some people refuse to be used by God because they think of themselves
In
as
himself,
not
then
ready.
the law came.
But in a
And
sense,
his
we
hope
are
in
never
himself.
ready or worthy. If we were, the sufficiency
So the law has a purpose.
would be in ourselves.
We live in a
it's not
time
from
when
God.
a culture we live in is seeking
That
to
kind of
destroy
explained it pretty good
all
for me,
law.
like,
It's
we
like
can always say that, hey,
everything
we're
is
not ready
evil.
to,
There is no good and
I
evil.
don't know,
They say,
be a
we're
preacher,
saying that now. They're
you know, whatever, have devotions or
it's
whatever,
evil if
but,
you try to correct it. The evil of our day is if you say that there is good
yeah,
and
it's
evil,
kind of like
that's
saying,
evil.
oh, I got it, you know, if you get to that point, you're like, oh, I
Circular
got it.
mess is that. You go around and around and around. You know, if there's no good and evil, then how do you know what I'm doing and evil? So it's really very devilish.
Major tactic.
But the law of God is perfect. It's pure. It's holy. But it's time. It talks about its glory was to be done away. But the ministration of the Spirit, you know, something that is written by the Spirit of God into the heart of people. And I think this is, we have to be very careful in our dealings with
I've
these.
already had to where
Because if the Spirit of God is not with something, it doesn't minister life to them. Somebody help me out. I mean, is somebody, forcing somebody to do the right thing when it's not real to them is an abomination.
especially the elders, just like
I mean,
to get to church.
What?
I would not recommend
think this happens.
They don't really have to go.
And by the way, the Amish are not the most controlling religion out there. It's, they are controlling, but around here they're not as controlling in some ways, but they're not the worst at it.
One thing,
I think that being forced to do something, even if it's good, creates a resentment that sticks with people for a lifetime. I mean, does that seem right to you? Even if you think it was a good thing, you resent being forced to do it. Is that correct? And I think the danger in people getting out of that is that they just, I'm just gonna show you, and then you go, it's like, you think that was bad, wait till you see this, you know?
Now I,
there is a Sunday, specific Sunday where they use those
take this down now?
Just slide it back. Now, I don't know.
If we sit up here, you just put it, yeah.
Just leave them stacked up.
They probably will.
Let's sing This Little Light of Mine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine.
Well, good morning and welcome to everybody, those that are normally here and those that are not normally here. We're glad all of you are here, and we're certainly thankful for the occasion and safe travels, and appreciate all the efforts that were put into this whole operation. And without further ado, I think we'll turn the time to, I think Ryan's the first up, so carry on. Bless you.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our part of the presentation. We'd like to thank everybody who came out and supported us. It was a great trip. We got to know everybody pretty well. Me and Jenna didn't really know going into this what we were going to expect. We were pretty worried, but we got to know the youth group way better than we thought we would, and I think we all appreciated everybody's prayers and everything. Everything went really smooth traveling there, and we'd like to appreciate everybody's support, definitely. Something that was a highlight for me, I guess, was all the memories we made and everything. And just our day-to-day activities, we got to work with everyone and the staff. And I guess whoever isn't familiar with JRM, it's Jamaica Relief Missions in Montego Bay. And kind of their whole ministry is to foster kids and to help take care of them from either day one that they're born to at 8 years old they have to leave. And they have uncles there that help take care of. They would help us on the projects, the housing projects, and then at night they kind of help take care of the kids and stuff. And then the aunties would be more the caretakers for the children that are there. And they can roughly do 12 kids, I believe. And they have, JRM right now has 4 properties that they take care of. They have the original house, they just got donated back to them where it started at. And then they have their compound they take care of right now. And this is actually the house we stayed at. They had just built this, they just finished this, so we were kind of one of the first groups that got started into this. On the top deck is the boys', so they have two sides to this. On the top deck is the boys' sleeping area, and then so there was half and half. There was I think there was 4 showers on one side for the guys and 4 showers on the other side for the girls. The bottom side was the cafeteria area, and you can just keep flipping. And the bottom side was the cafeteria. It's 4 big groups. It works out perfect for everyone. You have your own kitchen. Everything is very nice, up to date. And they make it very available for, like I said, big groups and stuff, and it works perfect. So they have like I said, they have a really nice mission, and it's set up great. Sorry, but if you keep it, So this concrete pad right here, they just got done pouring that. It's a big group. It's got a volleyball court and a pickleball court and basketball court. This is the view from the mission. And then this is at night. So it's pretty cool. They have a cross that you can see from across the city area. So this is Mike Mullet. He is kind of the guy that took in charge of everything. He kind of planned us. I think we had any questions, we would message him. He's got quite a big job. And kind of overview, there's him, Mike Mullet and his family. They're there for 2 years. Dwayne Cross and his wife, Verba, they're there just kind of overall looking. I think they come back and forth. And then Carl Miller, him and his wife are there for 5 years. They're currently 3 years in, and they're actually working on adopting 2 of their children. But it's a great mission. They have a lot. We kind of went to build a house, and we got that done in 2.5 days. So I guess I will turn my time over to the first group. And actually, hold on. Sorry. Keep going. My bad. Keep going. Yeah, sorry. My bad. Okay, so we left Saturday morning, and we left here at 2:30. We got there around 5, and we were quite a bit early, but the groups, we made it through pretty quick. Currently here, I'm beating the girls at a game of slap. And then Mike met us there to pick up all our luggage. And then we had a driver, Derek, who you'll later see. He's been driving for them over 15 years. He's got a bus, and it holds about 30 people. And that worked out great. He took us everywhere. This is the back of his bus. But yeah, he took us everywhere, and he was our driver the whole week. And he just kind of one day met them at the airport, and it worked out perfect. Usually nights we played lots of pickleball, and then we usually had a meeting or devotions in the evening on the rooftop. So it was me and Aaron would switch off every day and had devotions, and it worked out perfect. And then we had, the first evening we were there, they gave us 4 options: fried chicken, pulled pork, goat curry, and what was the other one? Jerk chicken, which is super big deal there. It's kind of their main. So like I said, kind of winding down here. I want to thank everybody again for all the support. Like I said, me and Jenna really didn't know what we were going into when we got there, but it was a grand time. We got to go to the youth. Way better. Their personalities came out a lot more. Like, for instance, I didn't know Joel over here talks a lot. And me and him were like 2 dummies on a ladder up there trying to read the tape measure. We'd always say 2 lines after the half. We're not too good at that sort of stuff. So yeah, once again, I want to thank everybody for especially coming and supporting us. So, all right.
So the first group for Sunday was Jared, Michael, and myself. And we like to joke that we had the easiest day since we didn't have to go to the job site or anything, so that was kind of nice. So Sunday was our first full day at the mission. And first thing after breakfast, we got all dressed up and we got in our little purple bus. And we went on down to the little Baptist church in town, Bay Life Baptist Church. And it was it looked like it was kind of in a warehouse, not like here. And the sanctuary itself was a lot smaller than this one. You can kind of see it was like a long, narrow room. It was very small, but the service was great, the worship was great, and we even got to take part in communion with them. So that was really cool kind of to see how different and yet the same it is from the services here. After church, we got to come back to the mission, and we had lunch with the staff and the kids, so we kind of got to meet everyone, and that was cool. Then we cleaned up, and we had orientation in the main house, or the auntie house, where all the kids are staying, where orientation might kind of he had a slideshow of kind of the projects that they're working on. He kind of told us, JRM's history, what they're hoping to do in the future, and he also, answered any questions that we had, and then laid out how the next couple days were going to go for us. And then after orientation, we were kind of free to do whatever. There was, like Ryan said, they had a concrete pad for pickleball, volleyball, basketball. We kind of got to do that. And the kids, they also had the kids come outside to play, so we got to kind of meet and spend special time with them. So that was really fun. And then it was beautiful outside, too. The weather was absolutely gorgeous Sunday, and it was just so much fun. And then we had supper with the staff and kids again, and this time they actually went around and introduced everyone by name, and also they kind of said what they did at the mission, what their job was, and the aunties introduced which kids were theirs, which ones were the ones that they took care of. So we got to meet everyone more personally Sunday night. And then after supper, we again, we kind of were free to do whatever until the staff invited us to share devotions with them, which they do every Sunday evening. And I think it's mostly for the kids, because they read a Bible story for the kids, and then we all sang some action songs and did some little kid songs, and we got to learn some new ones, which was really cool. And then after that, we were kind of free to do whatever again. We played some more volleyball in the dark, so that was really fun, and that kind of ended out Sunday. It was nice to just have kind of a bit of a chill day before heading to the job site the next day.
So the whole trip was pretty good, but Monday, the first day we were at the job, was probably my favorite time. So we got to the job, and Ryan's talking to the lady there that we're building the house for, and she said that she built a sewer pit out back. It was a hole that was pretty deep, and she had found out that a pig had fell in the hole. And she was but she couldn't get it out, so she just was feeding the pig in the hole. And so Ryan was well, can we go see it? And we're walking back. Well, the night before, it had rained, and so the hole had filled up with water. And we get back there, and she looks in the hole and finds out that her pig's not in there. And she's like, where did he go? And Ryan's like, he's dead. Yeah, he's definitely dead. And Michael was like, oh, maybe it swam out. Well, no, Ryan said, no, that thing is dead. Pigs cannot live underwater. That thing is dead. Well, a little bit later, we looked about 20 feet over, and there's the pig walking around. But Ryan was convinced that pig was dead. And if you ever need anybody to break the news to you, Ryan is your guy, because he will not deny anything.
It was pretty blunt. I want to thank all of you for making that trip possible, for your funds and all the things we did to generate the income. It wouldn't have happened if you guys didn't give all that you gave. The trip was probably the most memorable one I've taken all my life, so that was amazing. And the greatest experience was probably getting cornrows. I got my hair pulled so tight that it probably rearranged my brain, and taking them out, I actually almost went bald. I lost more hair than I've ever lost before. And that's it.
Monday's group was myself, Joel, and Kimmy. And we woke up that morning, ate breakfast, and after breakfast, we were able to make many, many, many sandwiches for lunch. We made lunch for ourselves and the workers that were helping, and for the lady and her little 3-year-old boy that we were building a house for. When we got to the job site, because it was so muddy, we had to carry all of the supplies down a hill, and it was quite steep and rocky, and so we just carried supplies after supplies after supplies. And then we were able to start building the house. And the guys put together the walls and put them up. And this is the lady's, I think he's 6 months old. His name is Domino. And he's her little baby. And the guys put the walls up, and the girls primed and started painting the siding for the house. And then we had lunch. It was quite hot, and we went through two 5-gallon water jugs, and played some more with the little boy's name is Wyatt, and he's 3 years old. And then the guys started putting the siding up, and we put more siding up, and then we got back on the bus and went back to the compound. And for supper, we had a soup. It was good. There was some iffy things that weren't quite sure if they were good or not, and cornbread. And afterwards, we cleaned up and played games, played volleyball, had devotions on the roof again, and that's what it was for Monday. And I would like to thank everyone who made the trip possible. It was a lot of fun, and we'll definitely remember it for a while.
Jamaica was probably one of the best trips I've ever taken. It was super fun. But some of my favorite things was Navina's reaction. After we built the house, she gave everyone a hug. That was so sweet. And doing things on the rooftop was also a lot of fun. Like, yeah, you could literally look out and you've seen for miles. It was so pretty. But another one of my favorite things was one of the staff kids. He came up to me that one night. We were playing with him, and he gave me like a big chunk of change, and it was actually Jamaican money too, so it was worth a decent amount, and he said that he wanted me to have it. And I felt bad because it was like so much, and so I told him that he can keep it and he can go buy ice cream with it and just eat it for me, so to speak. And he was so happy. I remember he was like, all this for ice cream? And I was like, yeah. So yeah, he was really happy. It was really special.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone that had a part in making this trip possible. And a few highlights for the trip were probably going out of the country for the first time, and definitely building the house with everyone and working with each other.
Okay, so for the Tuesday group, it was me, Julie, and Jordan, but he's not here, but you'll see his video then later. But, so in the morning, we got on the bus, we were heading down to the house. Well, we got to this cliff, like, the way up is, like, literally a path that you're taking up there. Well, there's a cliff on one side and a drop off on the other side, and we had, like, a huge line of cars coming, and we were all kind of pooping our pants, but, we survived. But then we got there, we kind of started painting, putting trim, stuff like that all up. And then they were doing the trim boards, them looking cute. And that was her old house, like compared to the one that we're building. It was, pretty crazy how it looked. But Jared and Ryan were kind of the main roof people. They were putting stuff on, and then the others were kind of on the bottom. Then we were kind of trying to finish the painting and the first coat at least for the outside, doing that all. And then we had a lunch break. We were all tired and hungry, and the sandwiches were getting kind of old by then, but hey, they were fine. This guy was in charge of making like concrete for like the bathroom, stuff like that. And it was kind of cool how they made it. They like added water and like they had like a little bit of cement or whatever they mixed it up with. It was kind of cool to see him make it. Then they're making the porch stuff to put up there because there's like a little tiny porch. And well, sometimes there's not enough to do for everyone because there's a lot of us. So Marcus is just chilling. Then mainly just keep on painting as it was drying and kind of trying to do touch-ups and stuff like that. But Sarah was kind of the main one to go on the top row, which was a very long reach, but it was, got all painting. And after we got back to the compound, we got to cool off in the pool, and most of us all had a pretty nice sunburn, so it felt really nice. Then we had food. We were all pretty hungry. Not even sure what we had. What was it, soup or something? I forgot. It's like a haystack. It was okay. Then we're doing a skit for the kids there and at the school. So we're trying to practice and stuff, and, well, let's just say Joel kind of needed the practice, but, we got it. But it was a lot of fun, and, I think Jordan's video should be up there, I think. He's at a horse show, so he couldn't make it. But I guess, Julie, if you want to do your, if Jordan's come up, then you can do yours.
Oh, you want me to do it first? Okay, cool. There was so many memories that we got to do this week, and I thank everybody that helped us to go. Probably my favorite thing was the kids. I mean, this sounds horrible, but I wish I could have just picked one up, put it in my suitcase, and brought him home with me. I would have loved that. But it wasn't specifically the kids, but the missions, like, relationship. It was a family. It wasn't just a compound and aunties and kids. It was a group of people that, like, tried to make, like, you could tell the kids were comfortable and happy, and they had a supportive home. So that was very fun to see and stuff like that. I know my voice is...
I'll do my highlight. But I think it was really cool to see the different, like, lifestyle. Like, we were building the house, and, like, for instance, like, so, like, the lady and, like, her friends were all coming around, but they'd just be sitting there watching us work. I mean, they didn't really care that they weren't helping. And, like, everything, it was just kind of different because, like, if that'd be us, like, we're like, can we help with something? Or, like, you're trying to be helpful, I guess, or whatever. I know it's kind of cool. It's just very different. And then, like, their pace of life is so, like, not slow, but it's a lot more chill than here. Like, they don't really care if their house isn't built in a year. Like, that's just kind of, we'll piece it together, it's fine. I mean, here you're like, you want to get it done. Like, just the sooner the better, Just kind of cool to see that, like, maybe we can kind of calm down and not be quite as impatient. Because while driving on those roads, you kind of need a lot of patience. But yeah, that was pretty cool, and the kids were so sweet. The first night, the kids came out to play, and one little girl, I don't do kids, they don't like me. But I was sitting there, and the one little girl just like, she cuddled with everyone. She walked up, and she just hopped on my lap, and she was just laying her on my shoulder, and she was just content there the entire night. It was really, really sweet, but they stole most of our hearts, I think. But yeah, thank you guys for making it possible, and donating everything. It was definitely a really good experience. Well, maybe Jordan will get lucky and not have to say anything. Should we sit down? Okay.
Was building and finishing the house. It was a lot of fun. And the thing that stood out to me the most was probably how fortunate we are in the States to have what we have with our houses and all that stuff. And I just want to say thank you to all the people who helped out to make the trip possible. It means a lot.
Well, I want to say thank you to everyone that supported us in going. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun getting to know all the youth better. That was probably the highlight for me, was just learning to know everyone better. And I also really enjoyed working together, building the house for the lady. She was not living in a good situation. Her house had 3 rats living with her, not by choice, but she couldn't get rid of them. So it was really neat to be able to do that for her, and we all worked together, and I think we had a really good time. We are also going to be doing, or right now we're going to be doing the skit that we did at the school that we went to the one day. And then we're also going to be sharing a couple of songs that we learned while we were in Jamaica. So those of you doing the skit, you can go ahead and...
subjects, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And now let's hear from our host, Sarah.
Today. We have a great show for you, perhaps one of our best. So let's get started. First, let's everyone give a hand for our king, Nebuchadnezzar. Welcome, O King, and thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. What a miraculous story. That fire was...
Hold on, King. We'll get to that story in a second, but first, let's welcome our other guests. Everyone give it up for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
100 feet tall, 10 feet wide, massive.
Hold on, King. You said 90 feet tall? That is tall. Sorry, go on.
Well, as I was saying, I built this large image of gold, then I made a law that whenever the people heard the sounds of horns and flutes and harps together, they must bow down and worship it, or they'll be thrown into a fiery furnace.
Shadrach, what happened next?
Well, sure enough, we heard the sounds of horns, flutes, and harps, but my friends and I refused to bow down to the image.
I know. So I turned it up 7 times hotter.
7 times hotter? You did say 7. Wow, if it were that hot, you couldn't even open the furnace door without being burnt to a crisp.
Yeah, it really was. The people that put us in, they ended up dying from it.
Wait, are you serious? What happened to the 3 of you?
Well, first they tied us up, then threw us into the fire. But even when the fire was so hot, we went down to the fire.
Then I saw an amazing thing. Instead of 3 people in the fire, there was 4.
4? You did say 4, correct? How could that be when you only had 3 men thrown into the fire?
We were not alone, as Abednego said. We knew our God would truly be with us because of our obedience.
So what do you mean when you say because of your obedience?
Well, only God is worthy of our praise and worship. It would be wrong to worship anyone or anything else. It was important for us to obey God in this matter and worship Him only, even though we all could have died.
But you didn't die
sitting here, so. And then the next thing you know, the king was calling for us, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, so we just walked out.
And hair on our head was singed. What do you mean it smelled like smoke? It was truly amazing. So I made a new law that whenever the people, made a new law that when anyone who speaks against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego would be killed, because there is no God who would save people like theirs.
Well, we're out of time for today. I truly want to thank our guests for this amazing story, and remember the number 1. It's an important number to remember because as we found out tonight, there is only one true God, and we must worship him only. Goodbye.
Is this on? Okay, now it's on. Great. So, first thing I did Wednesday was make eggs. Aaron taught me how to make eggs, so that was a lot of fun. Also, that's an awful picture. There we go, yeah. So, yeah, that was just a weird building we passed that's just bamboo up the bottom. Looks very sketchy, but hey, Springhaven didn't build it, so. Then, while those others were working, some people were getting coconuts because, you know, they don't like manual labor or something. But, yeah, we were just trimming, and
putting in windows and doors and finishing out the inside, kind of putting plywood on some walls. And there the windows were going in. Not bug-proof at all, but let some breeze in. And the girls were finishing up painting and playing with the kids, because it wasn't a lot of work, so you had to occupy the kids and keep them out of trouble and sit around and do nothing, kind of. Some people came by and watched. But yeah, a lot of the kids just played with the kids, so that was good times. And they got a ribbon on their door, so very nice. And I guess the kid loved the door. So this is hard, by the way. Got to take a picture there, the lady is, and gave her the key and everything. And we're happy. So there's the inside after we're all done. Cleaned floor and everything. Fresh and cleaned. Ready to move in. She got a plaque to remember us by, so yeah. It turned out to be a nice little house. And then we went shopping. And before we left, somebody had said, watch out when you go down there. They'll try to sell you anything. You weren't kidding. I mean, they tried. They were very nice. We got a missionary discount on everything. 50% off, So, yeah, we had a bodyguard. We were not going to get in trouble. Marcus got some braids. I think Michael did too, and Julie. So, yeah, some of us others were not that brave. We tried to get Eric, but yeah, he was lame. Went back and played with the kids. So, and then we did a song there. Yeah, we all look enthused and lost, but they were there to help. So, yeah, there's all the staff, and not sure what they're doing, but they're doing it. So, yeah, that was easy. But yeah, hey, thanks for everybody who donated and everything, and Aaron and Charity, you guys, for taking charge, and Lori and Jim Bob, they got it started. So thank you guys a lot. It was a lot of fun.
As you saw in the last picture, we were supposed to go out and take the towels down, but I was too short, and one of the staff girls wanted to help. So we just stuck her on my shoulders. It kind of worked, except we dropped every single towel at least once. But she thought she was pretty cool. She was bossing me around. It was funny. One of my main highlights was I just loved that every day we could come home and then go play with the kids. The one little girl was a 6-year-old girl. She was special needs and nonverbal. Her name was Dee Dee. And I got really close with her. She's super sweet. It was really cool to just play with her and kind of watch how her brain works and figure it out. And the last day she let me hold her, which was super special, because she didn't really like that there was new people there. She didn't really appreciate us in her area. But yeah, she was super sweet.
Well, I can't say that I have a specific highlight. The whole experience was a highlight, from building the house to hiking up Dunn River Falls. Also, playing with the children and having rooftop conversations. The whole experience was wonderful. I just want to thank you all for your generosity and support and helping us go there and allowing us to have this experience, and also Jim Bob and Lori for getting it started. You guys were wonderful, and the whole experience was wonderful. It's something I will remember for the rest of my life.
Okay, Thursday it was me, Marcus, and Sabina, and we had a pretty easy day. We just went to the school, but we started out the day touring out a daycare that they're working on getting started, which was cool to get to see the area. And that was the path up to the school. Lots and lots of stairs. And we had the skit forum and songs, snacks, a craft, which got really messy with the shaving cream and food coloring. I ended up walking out of there with blue hands. So then after we were done at the school, we just had a very chill afternoon. We went to the beach and, just sat around for the rest of the afternoon. We had those for lunch. Those were juicy patties. They were actually pretty good. Then after we were done at the beach, we went back to the compound, and the aunties had their night off, so we were helping entertain all the little kids and play with them. So that was the end of Thursday, and after I got back, one of the little girls that I babysit, her dad was telling me that they told her that I'm going to Jamaica to tell people about God. And so she started telling people that I'm in Jamaica with God. And so she was telling her grandma this, and her grandma was like, but God's everywhere. He's with everybody. He's everywhere. She thought about it a little bit, and she was like, no, he's in Jamaica with Emily. So I thought that was pretty funny, and I think it's true. God was with us, definitely. And yeah, it was a really good experience.
My highlight was the whole trip, but I was really happy that we got to go to the Caribbean. I've never been to the ocean. It was amazing. Tasted delicious. And snorkeling was also very fun. Never done that before. And then climbing up the waterfall. That was also another one of my childhood dreams. And I also want to thank everybody. You all donated greatly. It is appreciated. We all enjoyed it. And thank you, Jim, Bob, and Lori, for getting it going. We all enjoyed it very much.
Well, first off, like everybody else, thank you guys for making it all possible. Ryan, Jenna, for getting out of your comfort zone and being able to go with us. Aaron, Charity, for taking charge. My favorite part of the trip was probably Thursday, hanging out with the kids, being able to spend time. It's a different culture over there, and yeah, it was very humbling, but yeah, they're happy over there with everything they got. Partially might be the weed, but yeah, so yeah, overall it was a great trip, so wouldn't change it. Lots of memories were made, so yeah.
All right, well, Friday was, I guess, kind of our off day, our sightseeing day, whatever. So after breakfast, we loaded up, drove 2 hours away to Dunn River Falls. So this big waterfall kind of river thing where you can climb up the whole way up, I guess. But they have little flat areas where you could, like little pool areas, I guess you can swim around in if you want or whatever. But yeah. That was kind of but there was kind of the biggest part of the falls, where there was just the most climbing part, I guess, whatever, that kind of the picture spot. But it took us about an hour, I guess, to climb up, and I think everybody enjoyed that. Yeah, pretty sure almost everybody fell asleep on the way home. But yeah, we grabbed some lunch and headed home, and turned around and got ready and headed out for a fancy supper that night with our bus driver Derek there. Had a pretty cool restaurant area. It was out by the ocean, so it was a pretty good time, I guess. I think everybody enjoyed it. Had lobster tail and fish and shrimp and all kinds of stuff like that. But yeah, it was a good time, kind of a chill off day, I guess. But I think everybody had fun, and I think Jada will have a video too then, I guess. But I guess.
All right. My favorite part was probably just getting to see how their culture was. It was very different from ours. Like the driving was definitely a major one. It was basically, to put it bluntly, it was like everything your parents taught you not to do here in Illinois pretty much was like they do it there. Like their driving is pretty crazy. But yeah. And also the people there are super friendly. They it's not uncommon for you to get just random people on the street that just greet you and say hello, whatever. So that was pretty cool. And the one time I was sitting up on the rooftop there, and I was just sitting up there, just whatever. And there was a trail down below the mission or whatever. And there was just this random guy that was just walking along or whatever. And he just yelled at me. He was like, hello, whatever. He was like, how are you, whatever, and it was cool. He just had a short conversation. I'm never gonna see him ever again, but it was cool to see how he took time out of his day to just say hello and be friendly. So that was cool. But also, thank you to everyone who made this possible. It was a lot of fun, and definitely will remember it for the rest of my life.
This is what happens when you plan poorly and you don't put anybody on for the committee on Saturday, then you're stuck doing it.
So Saturday was our last day. Before we left, we went over to the property right beside. This is a new property that they have that they're planning to turn into another children's home, hoping to have about as many kids in this home as the other one. Right now, Dwayne and Verba live there, and they use it a lot for guests. They have tons of company. It's absolutely gorgeous. That's kind of the lawn going down to it. Then from there, we went to this house. This is a house where they had a program that had the older, I think it was boys, like 15 and up. They lived there, but that program has shut down, so now they're ready to sell this house. So we finally got to clean up a yard. Oh, it was kind of killing us all week. But the guys got to pull weeds and trim and rake and just clean the place up. And then the girls were fortunate enough to clean up the cockroaches and the dirt and lizards and stuff inside. We mopped everything, cleaned the bathrooms. The coolest part of that house, there is this awesome stairwell in there. And we were all working, and suddenly there was this amazing singing that didn't stop, thankfully. But the girls were in there. A bunch of them were upstairs doing the bathrooms and the floors upstairs, and they started singing. And then some of them figured out if you go on the stairway, it sounds amazing. Well, they were in there just belting it out, and the windows there, I mean, you can't really close the windows there. So the guys could all hear it outside, and they declared that we had a speaker. And I still don't think they believe us. There was no speaker. But they sounded really good. They were singing all kinds of worship songs, and I loved hearing them do that. When we got back, people had to exchange money and obviously pack up and stuff. And a lot of people had sent money over. Thank you very much. We were able to leave a lot of money there for the staff there. They're hoping to maybe do like a pizza party or something. They have a lot of staff leaving soon. And then we also left some money for the lady that we built the house for, just to get some necessities for her. And then we headed to the airport where things kind of went south. We got there. It was a crazy busy airport, but they did really good at getting us through quickly, only to let us sit there. I think our flight was delayed by 2 hours, so by the time we finally got on the plane, we were just so happy to be on the plane. Yeah, it was a good flight home then, and then we got home at, I think it was around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was delightful to be back home to our nice clean sheets and air conditioning, and we felt pretty spoiled. I think that kind of wraps up all of the pictures for that. Thank you to all of you for all of your support. Thank you to Mom and Dad for having the boys. Good job keeping them alive for a week, and to the other people that helped with that, and to Austin and Danny for keeping things going at home too. And Jim, Bob, and Lori, you guys got the ball rolling, you got things going. We appreciate that. You parents, I guess thank you for trusting us with your children. At one point, I think it was on the bus ride maybe, I looked at Aaron and I said, what were these parents thinking? But I got over it, and we had fun, and it was good. It was really good. Yeah, some of the highlights, hearing these kids sing and talk and just hanging out with them. We already knew them pretty good, but I think we know them even better now. So they made it super easy to lead. There was no problem getting them up and going in the morning, thanks to all of the roosters and dogs and music. And it was no problem to be up at 6 o'clock. They were up and ready usually. And yeah, so you kind of saw they all had days that they were in charge of things. They helped in the kitchen. That was super helpful to me. The boys helped cook a little bit in the mornings. That was an experience. Then they helped with like making lunches and cleaning up, just stuff that way Jen and I weren't always doing everything. They even helped with laundry. But yeah, they're pretty responsible kids. Good job, parents. Trying to think what else. Oh, I had time, like you saw, especially the last day at the job site where we were building the house. There wasn't a lot to do, so I took time to visit with the lady there. I got to know a little more about her and her life. I asked her if she had a job because, I mean, she has 2 kids. What's she doing? Well, she hasn't had a job since she had her baby, but her previous job, y'all hold your breath, she was a telemarketer. So the things that we kind of, really look down on, but she told me how thankful she was for her job. She had to take a taxi 45 minutes to get to her job, and then she got to make phone calls probably to angry Americans the whole day, and then 45 minutes back. And she was just so thankful that she got to have that job. So kind of changed my perspective a little bit on how unkind we can be sometimes. And it made me super grateful that I was chosen to be born and raised and live in America. So hopefully I am doing what God wants me to do here. And thank you guys for being good and making it fun and putting up with those old fogies.
Got this one back on now, Jaden? Okay. Did you have Jada's, or you can go ahead and get Jada's ready. If it works, then we'll just play it whenever you're ready. Jada is also not able to be here today, so she recorded a message of thanks that Jaden will play. Okay, well, where do I start? Thank you, I think, is where I start. A couple of very special thank yous that I want to give out. One of those is to Tyler and Jackson and Carson and Marita Mass also. They're part of the youth group that stayed at home. Some of that was by choice and some of it was because we said they weren't old enough. And they did help with some of the fundraising and were supportive and some of them gave money and things like that. Thank you for understanding and being supportive in that way. Jim Bob and Lori, it felt very strange to be going on a trip that someone else had done so much work for and wasn't along to enjoy it. We thank you very much for the support you did to get it started. And you know, one of the goals of this entire thing was to come together as a group even more than we were. And the fun, when we were talking about how do we start this, Jim Bob was very emphatic that we need to make the fundraising as a group so that can be part of the experience. And I think all of us would agree to that the things we did to raise money also brought us together as a group, so thank you for your leadership in that. Ryan and Jenna, I want to thank them for going with. It was very interesting that Ryan and Jenna, in some ways Ryan and I are opposites, and so so I knew we were okay when we got off so just to be honest, the two nervous things that made me most nervous about the whole trip was the shopping day and and just getting people through the airport. And I knew we were in good hands and that God had matched us up with a good leader when as soon as we left the security of the airplane and we hit the chaos of customs and lines and traffic and cars, Ryan just excelled in that. He loved that. The same way when we were shopping that day, he had more fun with them people than leading these kids through that. So thank you for that. And then parents and church and friends for your support. Obviously, your financial made it possible. Financial support. Your prayers were obvious. There was some sickness that was on the trip, and we could just tell that people were praying and helping with that, and God was leading, keeping people safe. A lot of the sickness was just exhaustion, heat exhaustion in a lot of ways. It seemed like if we get people to rest and take some liquid, by the next morning they were usually good enough to join us again. And I know some of you let employees go for a week. Thank you for that, and that was one thing that was amazing to me to watch as the whole week, it didn't matter what we were doing, there was always somebody in this group that was experienced in that, whether it was painting, building, there was an expert. One of these people were an expert in that, taking care of the kids, cooking, helping clean up. There was always somebody who, that was their wheelhouse, and that's what they loved to do, and they could lead the others. So there are each one of these have their unique skills, and there are some very good leaders in this group. One of the things I asked myself often was, what is the goals of this trip? Why did we do it? The first one was to show Jesus' love in a living way. Sometimes here in America we say we do it, but we don't always have such an easy opportunity to do it as we do when we're building a house for someone who has nothing. And so that was one of the goals of this, was showing Jesus' love out in an action. And I think we accomplished that. One of the ways that was evident was, so we showed up at the job site on a Monday morning, didn't know, we had a printed bio of the lady and kind of her situation, but not a lot of details. And we worked all day, Monday, Tuesday, and by Wednesday noon when we got ready to leave, most of us, I'd say all of us, we weren't ready to leave the job site. And as I talked to the kids later that night, I think a lot of it was because we felt the love, not necessarily our love for them, but God's love for them in a situation where we knew we'd get to walk away, we get to come back to here, we get to, if we choose to, we could forget about them for the rest of our lives if we wanted to, because it wouldn't affect us, right? But the opportunity to share God's love in that way, I think, touched their hearts and showed them the love of God for others in a way that it's probably you wouldn't have understood. If you'd said Monday morning, if I'd have said, when you guys get ready to leave here, you're not going to want to leave this job site, I don't think they would have understood. But they now understand that feeling based on how that went. Grow together as a youth group was another goal of it. Obviously, when you spend this much time together in those close quarters, that happens. And thank you to all of you for making it work. I know each of you gave sacrifices to make it work as a group, so thank you for that. And then, expand horizons. Some of them were mentioned tonight. It was the first time, or this morning, that maybe the first time they've flown, first time they've seen the ocean, first time for many, many things. And so that obviously as a young person is a great thing, and shows you the world is bigger than just Arthur, Illinois. So what were some of my favorites? One of them was around that. There was anxiousness within the group of first times, and as we went through those first times and watched the relaxing and the enjoyment of those things, and it turned from being an anxious, stressful thing to something that they enjoyed a lot. Traveling, there was some nervousness getting on the plane, getting through customs and all that.
A specific.
Go ahead. Okay, and as they conquered that and moved to the next thing, it became an empowering thing for them, and so that was great to see. Let's see, working together. Like I said earlier, there was a leader for every situation, and a big shout out to the carpenters. I mean, that house, that worked well. Each one of them had a way to do it, whether it was the guys interpreting the 2 lines after a half, or the ones on top leading, and Ryan and Jared did really well at leading that project, and so thank you very much for that. Then probably another thing was just watching the kids unlock hearts, and what I mean by that is these children, as they mentioned, they're very happy there, and their eyes, some of them come from some pretty bad situations, and they have made it safe there, and because they feel safe, they're willing to open their hearts to these young people as they come over, and watching them interact with the children. And I don't know Joel, for instance, I don't know how many miles he put on that one wagon, pulling 2 or 3 children just round and round and round. And, so there's things like that you see that bring out bring out that excitement. And that's probably the biggest thing I noticed, was just the excitement for life. We all know that young people have excitement for life, and whether it's here or there, this group loves to have fun. They love to be excited, and so that was fun to see. We were given this plaque. This is a plaque from Jamaica Relief Ministries. We'll put this somewhere here in the church, but it's just a commemoration of what we gave them, which is the house. That was the main purpose of going, was to give a house as part of Jamaica Relief Ministries. They do take care of the children there. That's their main mission. But because they're based there, and obviously people know they're there now, there's people constantly coming for needs. And so this ability to build houses out in the community. They built, just to give you an idea how many they do, last year they built 19 houses. Currently there's, what did they say, 8 or 9 foundations ready. And they do 2 groups a month. So theoretically, if every group built a house, you could build 24 a year, is what the need is. So, yes. I think about one of the scripture things that we did in our devotions was we went through Timothy 4, for Timothy 4:12, which is the instructions of where Paul is writing to Timothy about being a leader and living an example for believers. And that was one thing that was what our devotions was based around each day. And when you think about that, and this is something this week, as I've gotten back and have thought about the trip, and what difference is it going to make in my life? What difference is it going to make in their lives? I think not only is it being an example of Christ to others, it's also living life with purpose. And I think that was probably the saddest thing of the trip over there, was there was a lot of people that just don't have purpose, whether it's lack of job, lack of wanting a job, addiction to, it was mentioned but weed, marijuana is it's everywhere over there. Offered multiple times on the street, just people just selling it. There's no hiding it like there is here. And then, of course, the addictions of that and the consequences of that stuff. Alcohol is another big one that grips them. And so you see a lot of just people going through the motions of life and not necessarily living with a purpose. And so for me, that's the challenge of this trip, is continuing to find ways to live life with a purpose and honoring God through that. So, are there any questions? I know some of you have been to Jamaica, have been to this ministry. If you need updates, are there any questions about any of that?
I was wondering about the building materials. Is that readily available? Did somebody else arrange all that, order it at the beginning, or how did that work out?
So the question was the building materials, how did that all get arranged? So there are lumber, apparently some sort of supply yards, and then these houses are all the exact same. So you, based on the need of the family, which I think is how many children they have, determines if it's a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom house. And then determine on that need, it's the exact same size. So they have a pick list that they just do over and over and over. And so, which made it really easy for us, because this house has been built many, many times. And so the directors, when we got to the job site, they said, okay, you know, just start cutting these boards to this length, start painting these boards because we're gonna need those. And it was a real methodical process. But yeah, they ordered the building somewhere, and then it came, and we unloaded it off the truck and started building from there. But it's all wood, except the roof is, what they call it, zinc, which is a real thin corrugated metal. Everything else is wood and hand nailed. I think they used a screw gun 4 or 5 times on the whole project. But some of that, I don't know if that's just to keep us busy with all the hammers and nails and paint, but it worked. The house itself cost $9,750, I think, for a 2-bedroom house like that. Well, they would call it a 3-bedroom house. But it was 14 by 16? 16 by 22, okay.
Are all the houses the same color, or who chooses the color of the house?
So the color of the house was, she was asked what colors she wanted, and she said purple or blue, and then they went with the bright blue. Each house is chosen that way, which color you want. Right there where we were at, there was a house down the road that they had built 2 years ago. It was a yellow. There was one back around the corner they had built recently. It was green. Yeah, the bright colors is definitely a thing they enjoy.
Speak to how does the people qualify to get a house? Why is it important that they get into a house?
So they bring the need to the mission, and that is done through, I guess, pastors. I think they'd have to be represented by a pastor, someone who understands the situation maybe better than the mission itself. And then the mission has, one of the names on this sheet is a Tanasha Price. She's a Jamaican lady that goes out and interviews them and talks to the community, talks to the pastor, and determines the need, I guess you would say. Once it's determined that they qualify for a house, then at some point the crew goes out and will dig a foundation, which is nothing's level over there because it's literally a mountain that just comes out of the water is the way Jamaica is. I mean, it's not even flat for a mile before it just literally comes straight out of the water. And so everything's, you got to dig into the side of the mountain or build off the side of the mountain. And so they'll get a block foundation built and concrete poured in that, and then they leave the site. And it's the responsibility of the person getting the house to backfill it up to grade. And the reason they do that is that's how they judge, or judge is a bad word, but that's how they incentivize them to do their own work also. So this foundation, I never did get how long this foundation has been up, but this lady had to somehow get enough people and enough supplies to backfill almost 3.5 feet of dirt inside there. And then whoever gets it backfilled first, that's who gets the next house. So they may have 7, 8, 10 foundations, and whoever gets it backfilled first, that's who gets the next house. And so that's incentivizing them to take ownership of it and get it there. Did that answer your question?
It also has to do with keeping their children with them, doesn't it? Can't they get their children taken away from the present housing? So you're literally saying keeping families together.
Yeah, right. So Jamaica has what we call DCF here, I think it is, the Children's Department. They have a very active over there also. And so yes, that if they determine that child was in a bad situation, they would take the child, which is why Jamaica Relief Ministries exists, is because there are so many children in what we would call the foster system because of situations like that. And so they're actually licensed. They're licensed by the state of Jamaica as a foster home. That's 0 to 8 years is their license. but that's why they exist, because the children need somewhere to be loved and taken care of, and by building the houses, they keep some of those from coming in.
Maybe a different question, but how do you tell your Rhine Autos apart?
One was Rhino, which is this one over here.
Which one had the hog die?
That's this Ryan. Ryan Limo over here. That, to give him a little bit of grace on that, that was before we learned how much an animal is worth to them. If he knew that now, I don't think he'd approach it that way. But we didn't realize that, you know, this lady had spent. The way the story actually ended up going was this pig had fell in her hole. So she had to, this house that we built had a toilet and a shower in it. And so to accommodate that, she had to go down the mountain and dig a hole. And that's where the sewage was going to run. And some neighbor's pig fell in that hole, and because it was the neighbor's pig, she actually bought the pig. And so she obviously had a very large financial investment in this pig, unbeknownst to us. It was the first day we got there. And so, which makes this story even funnier.
The construction process was basically just the frame. Explain about the inside. What did you do inside?
So one thing that's interesting is the way they started. Thought, so we got there, the concrete, and then it had a wood, was that 2x4? 2x4 embedded in the concrete all the way around it, and then straight down the middle of it. And we're like, well, somebody forgot to take the forms off, is what it looked like. Well, that's your plate. That's what you attach the building to. And so we ended up with, we had the 4 walls and a wall down the middle. That divided it in left and right. Then they put another one in about halfway front and back, so that gave you 1, 2, 3 rooms and a bathroom in the back corner. And all the outside walls, we just remained stud walls. The inside, we put plywood on both sides. Plywood on both sides, but we didn't paint anything on the inside. They said that what typically happens is they'll move in immediately. In fact, she was saying she was going to move in the next day. But then as they make it their home over time, they say they go back to some of these and they'll have tiled the floor, painted different things, kind of make it their own over time as they have. And one of the things that Jolene was talking about that they do, it's very much just as you have funds. So there are some mansions out there in the middle of the sticks where they start. It looks like it's going to be a 3-story, 12-room mansion, and they get the bottom done, and then there's re-rod 30 feet up in the air, just sticking up in the air. And what they do is they just start building, and if they run out of money, they live in whatever they got done. Then the next time they build on again, and they just keep, because there's nobody to buy the house the second time. So you just build what you're going to live, what your kids and your grandkids are going to live in. You just start building, because there's no value in getting it done and putting it on the market. This is out in the sticks. Now in town, it's different. They build them up and sell them and buy and sell. But yeah. So what was very interesting to me is, every country has its things, right? So you build this thing. The plate, the wall is toe-nailed onto the plate. Okay, so all of us know that's not going to be real stable. But the only regulation we had from regulations is we had to put hurricane straps on the sidewall to the rafters. The whole thing would have left if it was pointless, but that's what they wanted. That was the only thing that was state regulated, was that little clamp strap. Anything else? Yeah.
What type of water system in the house? Like, if there's a toilet and a sink, what's the water system?
Okay, the question is about the water system. So the first thing is, we were asking about their, you have to assume that half the electric and half the water is stolen from somebody else. So you'll just see these pipes just running across, and you know it's coming from somewhere, but you don't know. So the water in this place, I'm not sure how she got water in her original house. They had, one of the things that's purchased with the house property is a big black tank. It's probably, I don't know, 700 gallon maybe? And that's her water tank. And I don't know how she filled it. We could not figure out how she filled it. But it looks like she would carry water in, dump it in the toilet to flush it. Like it's running water from the toilet on, but to get the water in the toilet appeared to be, or we plumbed the house for running water. Like there's a line going outside, but I don't know where she would have gotten water. I assume it's something in the future. You know, you just put it in so it's there. Some of these ladies had the opportunity to go into into the neighboring house to use the restroom. And you guys carried water, didn't you, to flush the toilets? No. They didn't flush, is what they said. So somebody carried water. It did have running water, but it was up the mountain a little further, so I don't know. In fact, they ran out of water to make the concrete. Her black plastic tank ran out while they were trying to mix some concrete. And so they just went down the road to the neighbor who was in the process of building his house and just begged some water off of him. So. Anything else? Okay, well, thank you all so much for your support. Again, nothing like this is possible without your support, whether, you know, in any way you gave it. I feel honored to lead the group, and obviously inadequate, but by the grace of God, we were able to do it. So thank you again for all your support. And that's all I have. If you want to play that from maybe, try it. This is Jada Hirschberger. She was one of the ones.
So I don't know if I necessarily had like a specific favorite part of the trip. Everything was just, I absolutely loved it. I was nervous going, but like, I'm so glad I went. And building the house, that was really rewarding. I loved all the kids, and the view was beautiful. It was amazing. And yeah, I definitely missed all the kids and even our bus driver on the flight home. I was really sad to leave, but it was a great week. So thank you for everyone that like helped with like the planning and like all the like fundraisers and stuff like that. And yeah, thank you Aaron and Charity and Jenna and Ryan for taking us. Like none of it could have happened without you guys. You guys are pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, anyways, the trip was great. I loved it. I'm glad I went.
Well, thank you for everyone that came. One thing I noticed was every single one of you got up and spoke, right? No one got missed. And how many volunteered? And I really laughed and enjoyed Ryan's comment, this isn't easy up here. And he was honest with it. And I think you guys thought you guys were going to be a blessing to the people there, but I feel like maybe part of the blessing came home. That you guys had it with you. So we're glad you guys are back. That was our highlight. And our highlight this morning was hearing you guys each speak. And you guys all look good sitting up here, by the way. And you look good coming back. So let's stand and we'll have a dismissal prayer, and then you guys will be free to go. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for everyone that's here this morning. We thank you for these youth that were a blessing to the people in Jamaica and to the blessing here at our church. We thank you for the parents, for the employers, for the friends and family that made it possible for them to go. We thank you for this church and for these people. We pray that you dismiss us and that you bless us this coming week as we go from here. In your name we pray. Amen. You are dismissed.